Hey y'all, we're Alec and Cindy and we're sharing the journey. Any of y'all that have watched us for a while, you know that we live full-time in our little 32-foot Tiffin motorhome, and we work camp our way across the country and see America. As anybody that's been watching knows, that we had a tragedy occur on the 13th of February, and we had to leave our motorhome in Texas and we had to drive to South Carolina. And Cindy and I don't have enough words to express the gratitude of all the kind remarks and the prayers and the reaching out that everybody did. The YouTube community has just overwhelmed us, and you add that with all our friends, our church family, and our regular family. We just don't have enough words to thank y'all. But we're doing this as kind of an update and a thank you. So what's next for sharing the journey? Well, healing is next. Anytime you deal with the loss of a child, it's going to take years for us to heal. And but we're not going to let it slow down our journey. Nor is it we're going to slow down the sharing of our journey. And one thing that we're different about other channels is we keep our channel pretty raw, and we share Cindy just said a minute ago, the good, the bad, and the ugly. And I think the last few videos have been sharing the ugly, and we're trying to turn this around.
Or the bad, or the sad.
Yeah, and we're going to try to turn this around and get it back to the good. We're hoping for a lot of good, but we wanted to take a minute and let you know what we're doing. So right now we're on I-26. We just left our hometown of Columbia. So before we get into exactly what we're doing on our way back to Texas, I do want to say that if any of you are interested, our home church back in South Carolina, Lebanon Methodist Church, live streamed my son Greg's funeral, and I'm going to post a link to that below. If you care to watch it, that would be wonderful. We would encourage you to do that. If you don't, that's fine also. But I'm not going to spend a lot of time on YouTube harping about the sadness that we are feeling. I'm sure you'll be able to see it in our faces as we heal. But for our trip back, we haven't picked out where all we're gonna.
But I would like to say,
Alright. So Cindy is not quite where she can talk about it, and I went through that for days. The way our relationship works is I'm usually the breakdown first. Cindy's strong until we get everything taken care of, and then by that time I've worked through a lot of my emotions, and then she goes through her emotions. She is the type of person that likes to focus on the task. It helps her get through the grief, and then once the task is done, we have the grief, and that's where we are. If you're not.
One thing about that is we really tried to pay tribute to first responders.
Our son was a firefighter for 11 years.
And they see everyone on their worst day. They see a lot of things that are very disturbing. And it's a lot to deal with. And some it's harder to deal with than others. So, like Alec said, if you're going through a tough time, if you're having trouble, please talk to a friend. There's, like he said, 800 numbers. There's pastors. There's counselors. You may need to seek a counselor to talk through things, just so you can make sense of it. I know for law enforcement and first responders, there's a specific group that that talks with them and helps them through. What was the name of that group?
So SC Leap. When I was a policeman, for most of y'all know, I was a policeman for 26 years. My son was a fireman for 11 years. I volunteered my time with a group called South Carolina Leap, SC Leap. I think their website is scleap.org. I'll try to look for it and pin it below. But they have a lot of outreach programs for people who are considering suicide, who have been through a critical incident, and that sort of stuff. It's a great group. They're all first responders, and so all of us that
and have been through a critical incident.
Yes, we all were introduced to the program through a critical incident that we were involved in. I was involved in 2, and so I had to go to 2 sessions with, was voluntold by my chief to go, and it was very helpful. It was so helpful. So with SC Leap, I got my training, and we were able to help many people that were in need. So if you're a first responder and you're in South Carolina, actually for the yearly conference, they do get people that have had critical incidences from outside of the state, but it's almost exclusively for South Carolina first responders. Other states have their own programs, I believe, but reach out to somebody and get the help that you need, because we don't need any more senseless death and families that have to go through the aftermath. We're headed down to Bluffton, and we're going to visit my sister and my parents for a couple of days. And then we're going to take Bluffton down to Jacksonville, and somewhere between Jacksonville and Baton Rouge, Louisiana, we're going to try to find a campground or a hotel that's affordable, that we can either stay in a cabin or a nice room. If it is a campground, we'll do a quick review from our stay there, and then we're going to stop in Baton Rouge for the night to visit with my son and his fiance, and they're going to give us a little tour of Baton Rouge. So we may introduce Harper and Hannah to you and show you a few things that we find interesting down in Baton Rouge, as long as it's not like pitch black dark and all that. It depends on what time we get there and get started. They're going to work our way back over to Texas. We hope to be back at our motorhome with the animals on Sunday or Monday, and get back to work on Wednesday. And when we get there, we left on the 15th, and today is the 27th, so we've been gone for 12 days. So it's going to be about 2.5 weeks that we've been away from the motorhome, which, Cindy, that's the longest we've ever. Before that, it was 1 day when we went to go stay with your sister. But and so that's the plans. I know that the next day or two, we're going to try to do a video of our experience with Camping World, and I'll kind of set the stage for that real quick. I don't know if you've ever listened to the podcast, Christian Outdoor Podcast, which is hosted by Pete Rogers. Well, Pete and Susan, and it's in podcast world, in the outdoor space, it's kind of a big deal. His podcast is, and we've met them before, and they invited us on our way to Columbia to take care of my sons. Anyway, they invited us to stay with them at their house. Got me a little bit of outdoor Christian Outdoor Podcast Swag. We got to spend some time with them. I'll try to link his channel down below. It's a great podcast if you like to do anything with hunting, camping, outdoors. He's a great podcast to listen to. So I just want to share that with you. And anything else before we jump off that you can think of that we need to share? When we were in Ridgway, South Carolina, which is one of my other sons lives, and it's about a half hour from our home church. We had a family that owns a bed and breakfast there, and it's called Whispering Willows. And they reached out to us because they're very good friends with my son Spencer at his church, and we got to stay there for 4 nights. So just the generosity and the love and the prayers have been unbelievable, and now we're working our way back home. I will say though that if you know anybody in your life that is struggling with mental health issues, that there's all kind of 800 numbers and churches and doctors and people that are willing to help you along the way, and the effects of some of the mental health issues can have a really negative impact on you and your family. So I ask that you pray about it, you seek help, and get the help you need, and don't take the route that our son did. So we'd like to thank you for watching the channel. Leave us a thumbs up, subscribe. In the About Me section is how you can support the channel if you wish. And happy camping, and we look forward to sharing with you our adventures forward.